This video is sponsored by Destek. Stick around to learn more during the video.
I'm going to be sleeping in VR for a week. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but sleeping in VR is actually really popular. It's been around for years, and for some reason, I've never done it. I always thought it was a little weird at first, I'm not gonna lie. Sleeping with a VR headset on just sounds uncomfortable and honestly a fire hazard. But I've been seeing all these people do it, and with the amount of sleep rooms that are on VRChat and even an official sleeping app on the Meta Store, I thought, why not try it for myself instead of just basing my opinion on something I've never done? So I'm going to try sleeping in VR for a week. Now let's start off with some basic rules. Any sleep I do in real life must be done in VR. That's right. It doesn't matter if I take a nap, a quick snooze in my chair, or I go to bed. It must be done in VR. Whether it's in a VR game like VRChat or anything else, sleeping must be done in VR. Also, to help me sleep better in VR, most times I will be sleeping in VRChat through the sleep rooms because they have a ton of settings in here for sleep. And not to mention, I also got a program called Oyasumi VR, which basically gives you some sleeping utilities like sleep mode and automated animation triggering for when you actually do go to sleep. And any sleep I do will be recorded. There will be no sleeping I do that won't be recorded because I want you guys to know that I am sleeping in VR. Anything that I do in the middle of the night or anything that happens will be recorded. What the fuck? Now, sleeping in VR is actually a fairly common practice now, more than it ever has been. I used to think that sleeping in VR was not really a great concept because I always thought, what if, it overheats in the middle of the night and the battery explodes or it could start a fire. So I did a calm little nap test. I know, a nap test. I did a nap test for about an hour and a half and it got a little hot, but it was nowhere near what I thought it would be. It only got a calm little bit warm, but it's actually really normal considering if I feel my headset right now, it's about the same temperature as it was when I woke up. So it literally did not get any hotter than it would if you weren't sleeping. It felt perfectly fine. Now the headset I'm going to be doing this with is the Meta Quest 3 through PCVR such virtual desktop. Now I could do this in native VR chat, but I want to be able to use streaming cameras, and also it just makes it easier, and plus the rooms are much more lifelike, so when I get up, my brain will be tricked into thinking that I'm actually in a different bedroom. Now let's talk comfort. Comfort, I thought, was going to be a really big problem in VR chat sleeping, because you have a brick and a large head strap strapped to the back of your head. So what I did is I switched to the base head strap at first, for night 1 and night 2, which worked pretty well, but I noticed that there was some pressure on the front of my head and a lot of pressure in the back where the strap was, which makes sense because the Quest 3 head straps and the Quest 2 head strap was never really that comfortable in the first place. It's actually my main problem with the Quest headsets. It does work just enough for sleeping because obviously you're relieving some of that pressure by laying your head back on a pillow, etc. So it worked decent enough. Now I wanted the max amount of comfort, so I needed to get a new head strap. Well, that's where Destek comes in, and they are the sponsor of today's video. Here is other Sprite to take it away and tell you all about Destek. So let's talk about Destek's QH4 battery head strap for the Quest 3. It's become my brand new personal favorite head strap. I absolutely love it. If you remember, Destek's been a sponsor of the channel before, and their head straps are absolutely amazing. I actually use them outside of these sponsorships because they're actually really good. The Destek QH4 is very comfortable. It feels really nice. There's even weight distribution, especially with the battery pack in the back of your head, which means a lot of that pressure on the front of your head has been relieved and is now equally distributed across your head, which makes your VR experiences so much more comfortable. I can't even tell you how much more comfortable it is. The soft padding in the back of the head strap and on the top of your head is very soft, very comfortable, and won't leave a huge mark on the back or top of your head. And you have a battery in the back so it can charge your headset while you play. That way you don't run out of battery while you play games, which means longer play sessions. This, combined with the comfortability of all the padding and the equal weight distribution from the battery pack, makes longer play sessions so much more viable now. And even makes sleeping in VR a lot more comfortable. Thank you so much to Destek for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video to learn more. Bye! So let's talk about my nap test, which was my initial first journey into VR sleeping. My nap was pretty short, but wow, was it actually really great. It did take a second to get used to, as you can imagine, because sleeping in your bed and then waking up and it not being your bed and being a completely other bedroom that you don't recognize is a really trippy feeling. And then getting up and seeing a body that isn't yours while also still in a loopy, like, sleep state. Like, you know when you just get up and you don't know where you are and shit and you're a little loopy? That's how it feels. But couple that with you not being the person you actually are. Like seeing arms that aren't actually yours, seeing a body that isn't actually yours. And then also waking up in a bedroom that you don't recognize. That is a really trippy feeling at first. It actually led to me waking up from my nap and immediately ripping my headset off because I was terrified. The animation of me sleeping from Go Go Loco, the headset actually, it basically thought I wasn't moving, so tracking got lost. So when I sat up, basically what happened is the animation went back to its found tracking state, so hence why it looks like I'm getting teleported when sitting up. But me sitting up, I guess ripped off my headset to snap myself back to reality, which was really wild. Yeah, but I do remember one part of me sleeping, and that was about, I'd say, like, maybe halfway through the sleep, opening my eyes, and then seeing my body laying there, well, my body laying there, and then also waking up in a bedroom I don't recognize. That shit felt like a dream, but it wasn't really a dream, but it wasn't real. So it wasn't a dream, but it wasn't real. That's such a weird feeling. I barely remember that, but it was just something that just now popped in my head. But I will admit, it was really nice at first, until I guess I got really scared and just ripped off my headset at Mach 5. So, let's talk about my first actual night of sleeping. Night 1 was pretty good. It did take me a while to get used to Oyasumi VR and get all the settings correct. So I did sleep for a bit, for about, I'd say at least like 3 or 4 hours. And then halfway through that, my alarm went off, which I said that, and I went back to sleep past my alarm, I guess. So I woke up at 2 p.m. But the sleep was actually really nice. Once again, I did have that trippy feeling of waking up and seeing a bedroom that isn't mine, but it was really nice. It was really nice. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The sleep was pretty decent. I actually didn't really have any problems while actually sleeping. It felt great. It felt like just your average sleep that you would get, except waking up and seeing a room that isn't yours. That is really weird. Oh, and seeing a body that isn't yours. Considering I am a male and I'm using a female avatar, so waking up, looking down and seeing a female avatar, like a female body, it's like, do you understand how weird that is? Like, as a straight male, looking down and seeing a female body while also in a loopy dream state, that shit does something to you. I thought somebody done transified me while I was sleeping. I'm not even gonna lie to you, Chief. I mean, I deadass woke up from my sleep and I was like, oh man, who the fuck? But the sleep in general was actually really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't have any problem sleeping whatsoever. Although sleeping in VR does make your avatar look a little goofy, because I'm clipping straight into the bed, which is really funny to me. And also, I did notice that in the footage, while I'm sleeping, I would end up grabbing the controllers and readjusting myself and shit, which I do not remember. So not only am I playing and moving my controllers in VR while sleeping, I'm waking up in a bed and a body that isn't mine, while also in a sleepy dreamlike state, which, that is wild. So night 1, I'd say, gets a 8 out of 10 sleep. It was good, wasn't the best sleep of my life, but it was at a really above average, I'd say above good sleep. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't like, you know, the best sleep in the world, but it was a really good a way above average sleep. So let's bring it over to night 2 Sprite. So let's talk about night 2 of my sleeping journey.
Pause. Sorry to pull a Happy on you, but if you guys notice how noticeably shit my mic just got, don't talk about it, or I'll touch you.
Now, night 2 was very different from the rest. I found it actually a lot harder to go to sleep than the rest of the nights. For some reason, I just couldn't get comfortable to save my life. It took a while for me to actually get settled in, find the right place for my head to be so the headset wouldn't be weird. Things weren't clicking. The headset felt weird. My body I couldn't sleep. Now, of course, after a while of just kind of forcing my eyes closed, I did eventually go to sleep. But I will say, out of the entire journey, this was probably my least enjoyable experience sleeping. This was also the night I found out that I snore. I've never snored before. But I didn't start snoring until I started sleeping in VR, which is absolutely wild. I've never done that before in my life. I've never snored while sleeping, but once I started sleeping in VR, I've noticed that I'm actually snoring. Yikes. I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I can't tell if that means I'm getting good sleep or bad sleep. But either way, this was the night I found out I'm snoring, which I've never done before. But also this night was way more uncomfortable than the rest. But yeah, night 2 was mixed. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. It was probably the least enjoyable experience I've had sleeping so far, though. Okay, let's talk about my nap that I had around night 3. I got a little sleepy, so I went ahead and took a nap for not too long, but it was definitely a calm little nap. And there honestly wasn't really anything special with it. The room that I slept in was very nice. This was probably my favorite of the rooms that I slept in during this journey. But I will say, I did also snore in this. So, what the fuck? Also, when I woke up, I got up and I just I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. But nap wasn't really special. I just went and napped. So, yeah. Night 3, there was nothing really special. There was nothing special with this one. It was a good sleep, though. It was really good. This was probably one of the best sleeps I've had in VR, because I think my body was actually starting to get used to it now. I think this was a pivotal turning point in my VR sleeping journey, because now my body was starting to adapt sleeping with a headset on. I noticed that I wasn't having any discomfort. That also was due help from the head strap I was using, but also the fact that my body was getting used to sleeping with this brick on the front of my face. So not only was my body getting used to having a VR headset on, it was just getting used to waking up in a place that isn't my reality. And I was also getting used to this. There were definitely some kind of neurons activating, brain cells shifting, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but there was something definitely firing up in my brain. But VR sleeping definitely got way more comfortable from this point on. I also fell on the ground while I was sleeping, and I also kept sleeping while on the ground. So that's fun. Never done that before. By the way, I haven't done that since I was like 3, dog. Like, I'm being dead ass. I don't do that shit. VR sleeping has made me do things that I haven't done, like, ever or in a long time. I mean, what? But I fell on the ground while sleeping. Yeah. So, I don't know what to say. I did eventually get back up, but it was very embarrassing. Okay, let's talk about night 4. This one's an interesting one, because
Well, one, let's start out with how I slept. The reason why I slept like this is because I wanted to be facing the window, because the wall was very uninteresting, and I wanted to watch the rain while I slept. Problem is the bed fucking ate me. For some reason, the bed just ate me. For no reason, just at all. I woke up and I was under the map. So don't know how that happened. My tracking got lost and the bed ate me. Don't know how to feel about that. What happened? This is probably the strangest night, I'd say. Out of all of them, this one was weird. I don't even know how that happened. Maybe it was too dark in my room and tracking got lost. But I don't know what to say. The bed ate me. The bed ate me, chat. Yep. Surely it can't get any worse than this, right? Oh, fuck. Night 5. Oh boy, night 5. What can I say about night 5? It overheated my fucking CPU. My CPU overheated. I've never had that happen. My CPU overheated while I was sleeping. And it corrupted the fucking file. It corrupted the video file. Do you understand the countless hours I've had trying to recover this file? It's taken me hours. That's why this video was delayed. That was like the main thing with like night 5. There was nothing interesting that happened in night 5 except for the fact my CPU fucking exploded. I literally woke up to pitch black and a BIOS error on my PC, which oopsie, my PC could have exploded. No big deal though. Yeah. I knew the risk coming in here. I thought my headset would overheat, not my fucking CPU. Anyways, yeah. That... Didn't think that would happen. Now, I was very unsure of actually continuing this video. I didn't think this video would continue. Especially after what happened during night 5. I actually was going to abandon the video. Because I was afraid my PC was going to fucking explode. Luckily it didn't. Because I'm still alive and you're watching this video. If you're watching this video, that means this video didn't get canceled. If you're not watching it, then you wouldn't know. This was stupid. Anyways, night 6, nothing special. I slept in Night City, which was pretty cool, but nothing really special happened. I snored a bit, but apart from that, this was a very good sleep, even though I lived in a little bit of fear that I was going to die, because I didn't want my headset overheating, nor did I want my CPU overheating. So try sleeping with the fear of your PC fucking exploding. Then you'll know how I feel. Now, I will say it was a very good sleep because I did not move. There was no tossing and turning at all that night. I mean, I was snoozing, man. I was snoozing once I was out, bro. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That was a really good sleep. That was a good sleep. That was probably the most I've been knocked out in VR sleeping so far. So it was very good. Very good. So let's talk about our final night sleeping in VR, night 7. I just realized this kind of sounds like FNAF. Anyways, night 7. Was it special? Yes, but not in the way you're thinking. This was a very weird night. This was probably the shortest sleep I've had in VR so far besides the naps. But also because I had to switch rooms. Because for some reason I just got yoinked out of a room for no reason. I was sleeping in one room and I got yanked. So I decided to just join a different room. And it actually worked out really nice. The sleep was really good. I slept really great. I didn't have really any problems going to sleep, which was awesome. The only problem I really had that night was maybe losing tracking or getting yanked out of a room for some reason. But night 7 overall was actually a very enjoyable night. I didn't have any other problems besides that. So I'd say night 7 was a success. So let's talk about sleeping in VR. And is it something you should
do? Well, VR sleeping is not for everybody, that's for sure. Do I prefer it over sleeping regularly? No. Because after sleeping now, outside of VR, I've kind of learned to appreciate sleeping without a, 20-pound brick strapped to the front of your head. After I just slept really good. For some reason, I slept really great outside of VR. Now, am I saying that I don't recommend VR sleeping? No, not at all. I think it's a great experience. I think that everybody should try sleeping in VR at least once. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's great. Sleeping in a bed that isn't yours, or a room that isn't yours, or waking up to a body that isn't yours. It's something that not everybody will be able to experience, and if you have a VR headset and you want to try sleeping in VR, I recommend that you try it. I'm not saying you have to permanently switch to this, or if I think this will be the future, even though it would be cool for VR to become really big and, become the oasis and all that and have VR apartments. Would that be kind of sad? Yes, but I think it could happen. I'm not saying to permanently switch to this method, nor do I think it'll replace real sleeping, but I think it's something you should at least try and do at least once. Maybe twice, maybe try doing what I did. Maybe try sleeping for a week, see how you feel. Now, am I going to call this experiment a success? I think it was good. I wouldn't call it a failure, but I don't think it was a total success. I think there are definitely some flaws to sleeping in VR, but I think that when it's done right and it actually works, it works really well. If you ignore the loss of tracking problem, which could probably be fixed if you use a PCVR headset, which a lot of people use. So if you have a PCVR base station tracked headset, that might be a better solution. I think the best headset that you could probably use while sleeping in VR would probably be like the Big Screen Beyond, since it's so small and very compact. So it wouldn't be a huge weight on your head, and it'd be very small. So I think if you have a Big Screen Beyond, this is definitely something you would have to try. Now, I don't have a Big Screen Beyond, so I can't personally comment on what that would feel like, but I think that would probably be the best headset for doing this. Problem with standalone headsets is all the cameras are on the front, so you will have a huge loss of tracking since your room will be really dark. The way I solved my tracking not losing so frequently is because I had my TV running a white light, which would go back onto my headset and onto my bed. And so I didn't exactly have the lights on, but I had enough lighting to allow me to do VR tracking. And this worked surprisingly well until I got eaten by my bed and fell on the ground. That's probably going to be your biggest problem doing this, except for the weight problem. And by weight problem, I mean the weight on your face and your headset. Wearing a headset is very heavy, and the problem with that is you're sleeping with this thing on, which means you cannot lay down face first. Laying face up is going to be really hard. You have that head strap on the back of your head, so you're kind of only really limited to laying on your side, which for some people can be pretty uncomfortable. For me, I'm a stomach sleeper, so adapting to sleeping on my side was definitely something, it was definitely a change. Now, of course, I have slept on my side a few times. I just prefer sleeping on my stomach, so it wasn't as big as a problem for me. But if you're somebody who primarily sleeps on one side, this will be a problem for you, especially considering that I used a charging cable while sleeping, which probably wouldn't recommend, considering this could overheat and melt your charging port. So don't do that. I just have one that's pretty underpowered, so it kind of kept it charged but not overcharged. I don't really recommend doing this, but the problem with it is you can't lay on your left side, because I don't have one that goes like that. I have one that just goes straight. So laying on my left side of my headset like this, that will bend the cord, which could actually break my charging cord. So I was literally limited to just sleeping on my right side. Hence why sometimes I'm backwards on the bed on a few of these videos, because I wanted to face the wall or I wanted to face the window, but I couldn't do it because my left side was literally just not viable because I didn't want to break my charging cord. But apart from that, there's really no other flaws than that. I don't really see any problem except for running your PC overnight and the possibility of your headset or your CPU exploding. But if you're willing to run that risk, then go ahead and try it. I do recommend you at least do it once, because it is a once in a lifetime experience and it could be really cool. Or do it with a friend. Actually, don't do it with a friend. Don't do it with a friend. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a blast to make, and it's probably the most amount of work I've put in a project on accident. Because this literally was a week long of footage that I had to compile down. It's just fuck. But yeah, no, if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, make sure you guys give me a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. That's always appreciated, and it would help me make more videos like this. And if you really are feeling spicy, maybe you could press join on the channel and become a member. But apart from that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.
Thank you again to Destek for sponsoring today's video. If you want to, head over to Destek's website. They have a free shipping sale going on right now, so act fast while supplies last. Thank you.